When I was a kid, I had a lot of energy. I was very hyper. And so my parents always told me, you have to play sports. You have to pick a sport. You need to do something because you have too much energy. And so what did I do? Well, I played a lot of sports. And today, we're going to talk about all the sports that I've played. Hello everyone, welcome back to English on Autopilot. And today I thought it'd be interesting to talk a little bit about sports, especially because I have played a lot of them. In this video, I'm going to separate them into two categories. I'm going to separate them into sports that I've tried, meaning I didn't really do it a lot. I didn't compete in that sport. I didn't play in games. I wasn't on an official team. I just tried it, maybe in a few practices, things like that, playing with friends. Not official, right? And then we'll talk about sports that I really played on teams where I competed and things like that. So let's start with sports that I've tried. Of course, I tried basketball. In the United States, basketball is very popular. I even went to some summer camps where we trained for basketball and things like that, but I never played on a team. However, today, I still like to play basketball. I don't play on a team, I don't play games, but I love to take a basketball and go and shoot baskets. For me, it's a lot of fun, and I like to go with friends. I like to play basketball still. However, not on a team. I've played games of pickup, which is not official. It's with people that you know or people that you don't know that are at a gym or on a basketball court, and you just start talking and you say, let's play a game, 3 people versus 3 people. It's very unofficial, but it's a lot of fun. I also tried American football. I was practicing, and I was pretty young when I tried American football. I was probably, I would say like 8, 9. I was pretty young. By the way, don't say American football in the United States. Just say football. Because in the United States, American football, no, it's just football. Because what most of the world knows as football, which is this sport right here, in the United States, we call it soccer. Don't worry, I'll get back to this. Anyway, with the American football, it's very dangerous because you hit your head a lot. You are always running into each other, and there's a lot of brain injuries. There's a ton of injuries. And my dad, in the medical field as a doctor, he said, let's pick a different sport. And honestly, it was very good. Thank you, Dad, because I'm glad to protect what I have up here. Even though it doesn't work the best all the time, I need it. This next sport that I did is a little different. It's not the most popular, but I didn't really compete in it either. I did it for other sports. I did it so I was stronger, so I was more flexible, so I was better in other sports, which is gymnastics. And I did gymnastics, again, I didn't compete in it, but I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed doing the flips, doing things like that, going on the trampoline, on the bars, on the rings. I really loved training for gymnastics. Even though I never competed in it, it was a lot of fun. It was like being on the playground. And for me, like I said, I did it for other sports. And it really was great because it helped me gain strength and flexibility and overall be a better athlete. Now, another sport that I've tried that I haven't really played is tennis. Tennis is super popular, and of course, it's a lot of fun. Being in Spain, people love tennis because they have some of the best tennis players in the world. Spain is known for its tennis. However, I haven't played too much. Again, it's something that I kind of tried, that I went and took lessons, and I enjoyed. And I would play tennis today, but maybe I didn't love it. And I can say the same thing with golf. Golf, maybe today I would like a little more. In the United States and around the world, it's really popular. But when I was a kid, I found it a little boring, there was no action. And as a kid, I needed more action. Maybe now, a little older, I think golf might be a great way to relax and spend time with friends, but I would need to practice a lot because even as a kid, I wasn't very good at golf. Now, let's talk about some of the sports that I really played, some of the sports that I really was active in for longer periods of time. Let's start with the weirdest one, which is known as BMX, which is basically bike racing. Not motorcycles, not motorbikes, no, bicycles that you pedal on. And it was a ton of fun. I really loved playing this sport as a kid. I loved racing. I loved being on my bike. So it made sense. For me, BMX was the perfect combination of getting to ride my bike all day while getting to compete. Going over hills, the course that you follow is made of dirt. So you're racing on these dirt hills and curves and things like that on a bike with wheels that are really thin. So it takes a lot of skill and it takes a lot of practice, but at the end of the day, I can tell you that I loved it. I had a ton of fun and it was a great sport. I didn't stick with it for very long, maybe a couple of years, 2, 3 years. But while I was a kid, I really enjoyed this sport. I really liked it, even though it's not the most common. It was a lot of fun. Another sport I did, but I didn't do for a very long time, was hockey. Now I played ice hockey, which is, of course, on ice with ice skates and what you see on TV normally. But where I lived, it's not cold year-round. It's not very far north. In the winter, it's very cold, but in the summer, it's quite hot. And the only ice skating rink was about 40, 50 minutes away. And practicing every day, it's pretty tough. Luckily, where I lived, there was a rink for rollerblades, which are like ice skates but have 4 wheels in a row. And so I played in the summer inline hockey. In the summer, in the fall, in the spring, depending. And it was a ton of fun. I loved playing hockey. Another sport that I played for a very long time, well, this one for a very long time, because hockey and BMX, I didn't play for a long time. So a sport I played for a long time was baseball. Of course, I'm a good American boy. I have to play baseball. Well, I had to growing up. Baseball is super popular, especially for young boys growing up. I would say it's probably the #1 sport that young kids play, at least when I was growing up. Things might be changing now as other sports are becoming even more popular, such as American football, basketball. Those types of sports are becoming even more popular, and baseball, sadly, is getting less popular in the United States. Controversial opinion, I love baseball. I love watching it. I love going to the games. I love being there. Watching it on TV can be a little boring, but I promise playing baseball is a lot of fun. Now, when I was little, as I mentioned at the start of the video, I didn't focus very well because I had a ton of energy. And so as a kid, when I wasn't at bat, when I wasn't batting, I'd get kind of bored when I was on defense. And my parents always tell me the stories of me in the outfield, picking the grass, eating sunflower seeds, looking at the sky, and not paying attention. And honestly, I believe them 100%. I know I probably did that. Now, maybe I'd focus a little more, but baseball was a lot of fun. I especially liked hitting. I especially liked being on offense because for me, that was where you had the most fun. It was the most exciting. And I loved playing baseball. And I played for years. I started when I was really little, maybe 3 or 4, all the way up to 10 or 11. I played baseball for a lot of years. And it was a great time. But by the time I was ready to leave baseball, I was kind of over it. I was kind of sick of it. I didn't want to play anymore. And I know my dad was very disappointed because he loved baseball and he loves baseball still. But that's when I found my sport. Oh yeah, swimming. I found swimming after baseball. It actually happened because of hockey. Remember, I just talked about it? Well, there was a moment where in summer, inline hockey wasn't able to happen. We played in spring, but they had to take down the rink in summer, and I had no sport to do. And so my mom came to me and she said, "Look, you are very young. I think at the time I was 10 or 11. You are young. You have a lot of energy. We need to find you a sport for the summer. We need to find you an activity to do." So I said, I agree, because I loved playing sports. I wanted to play sports. And without hockey, I was so bored. Luckily, in a summer camp that I always went to as a kid growing up, I had a friend there. And my friend and I, we were talking, and he said, I just joined a swim team right at the pool. It was very close to the summer camp, and we used to go to the pool in that summer camp. He said, I train 3 days a week for about an hour, and it's a lot of fun. And his grandma used to work at the pool, and she was the one who put him into the team, who signed him up so he could start swimming. And I said, why not? I always growing up loved the water. My dad used to take me to the pool all the time in summer. I took swim lessons. My mom took me to swim lessons ever since I was tiny, because both my parents wanted me to be able to swim, just to survive, not to compete. And I told my mom, she said, excellent, 3 times a week, an hour practice, perfect. I started swimming that summer. At the end of the summer, we had a little competition, little, with just the people that trained in the groups and things like that. And I competed. It was the first time I competed in swimming. And well, I won all my events. And I said, you know what? This swimming thing is a lot of fun, especially the winning. And so I told my mom in the fall, when I was supposed to start back up with hockey, I wanted to swim. She was pretty surprised, because I really loved hockey. I loved the physicality. I loved skating. I loved all of it. But there was something about swimming that I loved even more. I loved being in the water. And well, I swam for 15 years, and I still swim today. So, one more sport that I want to talk about that I played. And why do I want to talk about this sport? Well, one, I was little when I played it, so it doesn't really count. And two, I was horrible at it. I was terrible. I was the worst at it. And that's soccer. Or, as most people around the world would call it, is football. And it is my number one secret living here in Spain. I've had multiple people ask me, hey, you want to come join our team for the weekend? We're going to play a match. It's going to be a lot of fun. We need one more. And I always say, I would, but I can't Saturday. I'm busy. I'm not busy. I suck at football. I am horrible at soccer. It doesn't make any sense to me. My feet and my brain are too far apart, and they don't connect. So football or soccer, as I would say in the United States, soccer is not my sport. So don't tell anyone, please. Don't tell anyone, or else they're going to kick me out of the country. No, I don't think so. But most people here love football, love soccer. I love to watch it. I really am enjoying becoming more of a soccer fan. And I've become a much bigger fan of the sport and enjoy watching the games much more. However, I don't think that's going to translate to being a better football player. So sadly, I'm going to stick to swimming. Well, no, sadly, what am I saying? Not sadly. Swimming is great. All of you should enjoy swimming. Well, not enjoy, but all of you should swim, because it's great for you. It's great for your health, it's great for your body, and it's super fun and relaxing. Okay, so go ahead and put in the comments, what sports have you played? What sports are your favorite to play? And what are your least favorites? Or like me, what are you really bad at? Because now you know, I'm horrible at soccer. Don't ask me to play. I can't. All right, everyone, please go ahead, subscribe to keep getting more input with this channel. If you like this video, put a thumbs up, and we'll see each other in the next video. Bye.